Hey, what's up, everyone? I'm Graham. It's Thursday. And unless you guys have been living under a rock for, say, like the last 30 years or so, you would have likely seen a movie called The Sandlot, right? You know The Sandlot. It's that 90s classic movie set in Southern California in the 1960s. And you've got these 10 friends that are just connected to the game of baseball in such a unique way. These adolescent boys that every single day they get up, they go to this busted up baseball field they call the Sandlot and play ball for hours and hours and hours. That's what they love to do, right? This is what they do all summer long, and we're introduced to these really interesting characters like Hamilton the Ham Porter and Michael Squints Palidorus and Alan Yeah McLennan, and of course the sort of the runt of the group, Scotty Smalls, and then the superstar, Benny the Jet Rodriguez. And there's this interesting quote in the movie in reference to these boys where the narrator says, "To us, baseball was just a game. But to Benjamin Franklin Rodriguez, baseball was life." See, there was a difference between all the other 9 boys and Benny the Jet Rodriguez who loved baseball so much that it just consumed his life. And I think there are sometimes some misconceptions when we talk about being a disciple of Jesus, right? Sometimes we view that as sort of another extension of the human experience, like your career or your family or your personal interests. These are all sort of things that are connected to your life, but don't necessarily take over your life. Doesn't embody your lifestyle. It's just another connection of the human experience. But there's a different way that Christ describes what being a disciple really looks like. And here's the calling that he says in Luke chapter 9, verse 23. And he said, "If anyone would come after me, let him deny himself, take up his cross daily, and follow me." Deny himself. And this is interesting because he's not just talking about, personal material items. He's talking about denying selfish ambition, denying sort of comforts that would go along with our way of life, denying temptations and desires in a way to fulfill the will of God. Denying these things about that come along with the human experience to fulfill the will of God. And not only that, what he says is he makes this incredible statement about taking up our cross daily to follow him. And this is an interesting statement because in the first century AD, criminals would often carry their cross to the place of their crucifixion. Kind of like a cold, dark thing when you think about it. They would carry what would be the instrument of their death to the place of where they were to be crucified. And this sort of symbolized that there was a burden that was associated with their life path, with their life choices, right? So this cross that they would bear, they would carry, this sort of symbolized what this person chose to do in their life, and so the result of that. And Christ is saying something powerful. He's saying, take up your cross and follow me. In other words, being a disciple is not just an extension of the human experience. Being a disciple is a burden, right? There is a burden that I've called you to carry. That there is real sacrifice that you will have to make. I mean, there is a sense of commitment beyond just being loyal to your family and your job, right? There is sacrifice. There is much that is going to be required of you. There will be struggle and pain and resistance. Much that will be required. It'll be a burden. But man, the gift of salvation and the blessing of joy that we receive through Jesus Christ, through this challenge, through carrying this burden, is far superior than anything we could ever taste or touch or experience on this earth.